The North Atlantic, 1941. War raged across Europe, and beneath the icy waves prowled a new breed of weapon, the submarine. HMS Acheron was among Britain's experimental fleet, a prototype vessel bristling with new technology. On its maiden mission, the crew numbered only 20, chosen for loyalty and skill. At the center of this project was Chief Engineer Samuel Redgrave, a man whose genius had shaped the vessel's engines and whose pride in the craft was legendary. But pride was not enough to save him. On the third night at sea, deep under the ocean, Redgrave was found dead in the engine room. His body lay against the steel bulkhead, eyes wide, mouth open as though gasping for air. There were no wounds, no sign of struggle. The door had been locked from the inside, secured by a wheel that only Redgrave himself could have turned. And yet something or someone had killed him. Captain Lawrence summoned the only man he trusted for an explanation, Detective Daniel Mercer. Sent aboard under the guise of an intelligence officer, the Admiralty feared sabotage if the Germans learned the Acheron's secrets. Britain's war effort would be imperiled. Mercer descended into the submarine, struck at once by the claustrophobic air. Pipes ran like veins along the ceiling. The hum of engines pulsed through the steel. In such confinement, every whisper traveled, every eye watched. He examined the engine room. Redgrave's logbook lay open on the console. A final entry scrawled hastily, "System stable. Pressure steady. Yet I hear it again, the knocking." The autopsy was puzzling. Redgrave's lungs showed signs of asphyxiation, but no gas leak had been detected, and the air in the room was clean. There were faint chemical burns on his fingertips, but nothing fatal. Poison? No trace. The crew whispered of ghosts, of the sea claiming a man who meddled too far. Mercer ignored them, but unease tugged at him all the same. He interviewed the officers. Lieutenant Briggs, the navigator, admitted he disliked Redgrave. Too arrogant, thought himself the heart of the ship. Maybe he was. Sub-Lieutenant Keats, a nervous young man, confessed that Redgrave had been on edge for days. He swore someone tampered with the engines, but nobody else had clearance. Finally, Captain Lawrence offered little beyond grim loyalty. Redgrave was brilliant, and brilliant men make enemies. Mercer returned to the logbook, focusing on the mention of knocking. The steel walls echoed constantly, the creak of pressure, the hum of turbines. Yet Redgrave had been an engineer, he would know the difference. The detective prowled the engine room in silence, ear pressed to the bulkhead. Hours passed before he heard it. 3 sharp raps, faint, as though from within the walls themselves. Tracing the sound, Mercer found a maintenance hatch, leading into the narrow crawlspaces between the submarine's double hull. Few men could fit through, but Redgrave was slim, and he had often worked there alone. Inside, the detective discovered fresh scratches along the pipes, as if tools had scraped in haste. And there, wedged between conduits, he found a small vial, shattered, its acrid scent lingering. The label was German. Sabotage was clear. Someone aboard had smuggled in a toxin, designed to release slowly into the engine chamber. The concentration would be too faint to trigger alarms, but deadly to anyone trapped inside. Redgrave had noticed, but too late. Now Mercer needed to know who had placed it. He gathered the crew in the mess, watching their faces as he laid the evidence before them. Most paled, some whispered prayers. Only Lieutenant Briggs remained still, his jaw tight. Mercer pressed him. Why had his uniform smelled faintly of solvent? Why had his boots borne flecks of rust, like those in the crawlspace? Briggs broke. He admitted to meeting a German agent in Lisbon months before. He had been promised safety for his family if he delivered intelligence. Planting the vial had been his mission. Redgrave was collateral damage. But Briggs swore he had not meant to kill him. The gas was meant to disable, not kill. I only needed him out of the way. Yet Mercer was not satisfied. Then how did the door lock from inside? Briggs faltered. He had planted the vial, yes, but Redgrave had discovered it. The engineer locked himself in, perhaps to contain the sabotage, perhaps to confront it. The gas spread quickly, and he collapsed before he could signal for help. Briggs had not turned the lock. Redgrave had sealed his own fate in an attempt to save his ship. The truth was grim. Briggs was arrested, confined to the brig until the submarine returned to port. The vial fragments were destroyed, the incident buried under the Official Secrets Act. To the world, Redgrave died a hero of the sea, claimed by mechanical failure. Only those aboard the Acheron knew the truth, that loyalty and betrayal had collided in the suffocating silence of steel. As Mercer prepared to leave the submarine, he lingered once more in the engine room. The hum of the turbines filled his ears, steady and relentless. He pressed a hand to the bulkhead, half expecting the knocking to return. None came, only silence, heavy and final. Redgrave had given his life to keep the vessel alive, and in that sacrifice, perhaps, the sea had claimed its due.